Good afternoon, Knights. It's Friday, November 12th. I'm Aiden Chavez.
And I'm Sam Rainey, and you're watching Night TV News.
Never to conquer, never to yield. For Independence High School, this is Night TV.
Driver and bike safety is incredibly important when it comes to our day-to-day lives. Join us as the student ambassadors give us some tips on what to watch out for. Students, bike and driver safety is something we have to keep in mind every single day.
Always make sure to get off your bike at crosswalks and look both ways to make sure that no one else is coming, and communicate with drivers waiting for you of your intentions.
Pedestrians always have the right of way, but accidents can happen, so always be vigilant when crossing any kind of street. This also applies to when we're driving vehicles.
Pedestrians always have the right of way.
It's especially important when you're turning right to not just look for cars, but to also scan for pedestrians who've started to cross the street while you've stopped.
Look both ways before turning.
Here is a detailed map of where students and parents are supposed to arrive and depart. Please keep this in mind before you go to or leave the building.
Homecoming week brought the energy this year, packed with fun dress-up days, an intense football game, and of course, a night under the stars. Layla AJ gives us students a chance to look back at the memorable week.
After missing out on all the fun HOCO festivities last year, Knights were ready for the week. The week started out with the dance-off in the cafe, hosted by Kings of Prom. Later on in the week, your homecoming court nominees got ready to find out who would be crowned by the student body.
Hey guys, I'm Ava Spears. I'm a senior nominee for this year's homecoming court, and I'm really excited for tonight. I think it's going to be a really good game. We're going to beat the Coyotes, and well, I think everybody deserves to win, so I'm really excited. So yay!
Hey guys, we're back with Christian and Paige. Anyways, this week has been very fun, very entertaining, and very busy. But we have our garters and our mums on. We're about to find out who wins.
The nominees got all lined up to see who was able to gather the most votes. King and Queen would find out at the last football game of the season later that night.
Homecoming Lord is Soul Army.
As the clock towards game time winded down, varsity seniors were locked in.
I'm Aiden. I'm Cade. I'm Reggie. And how we feel about tonight's game is I feel like we're going to win and we're going to come out victorious.
For sure. It's the Heritage Coyotes, and that's our rival, and they've been like that since forever, so we're going to come out with the dub.
We're definitely winning tonight.
Right before the Knights took the field, the King and Queen were crowned at Toyota and had the chance to be walked by their parents.
Homecoming Queen, elected by the student body, is Ashley Singh.
At 7 p.m., varsity football took the field to battle against the Coyotes. Although it was a tough loss, it couldn't have been a better game. For seniors, it was more than homecoming. It would be their last time taking the field at Toyota, together as a team.
Hey guys, it's us again, and we're back after the tough loss to Heritage Friday night.
Yeah, even though we lost, we still had a fun season, and we'd like to thank the fans and the supporters who all came out.
Well, I enjoyed playing with my friends, and the season's been pretty fun.
High school football was just a fun experience overall, and I was glad that I got to finish my career with my friends and play a fun senior season with them.
All right, I'm Aiden McCowan.
I'm Cade Foster.
I'm Reggie Bush.
You're watching Night TV.
Homecoming, the end of football season, and more. While it may seem like it's over, many are looking forward to what next year will bring.
Brighton Mooney came right off her 4th place finish and a new PR at state, straight to Toyota Stadium to support the Knights and be with her sports medicine team. We caught her at last week's football game on what it's been like to accomplish so much in her 4 years at IHS.
It's kind of surreal. Like after I crossed that finish line and I got the medal and I got the all-state little plaque I get, or you get if your coach is in the association. It's kind of hard to describe, but it almost felt like I said, it's surreal. Like you don't understand it. It's almost indescribable type of feeling because, I had set this goal to be top 10 in the state last, of course to be top 10 in the state, and then to run and get 4th place. It's just kind of all your goals and dreams are coming true. And once it's happened, you're like, what's next? I guess you could say that's how you could describe the surreal feeling. You're like, I don't know what to do next.
IHS is packed with amazing teachers who go out of their way each year for their students. Each year, the staff recognizes one teacher that stands out amongst them all. Your 2021 Teacher of the Year is Mr. Thomas Ray.
Mr. Ray has been teaching at IHS for 3 years, and this past week, he was awarded Teacher of the Year.
All right, so we want to do this in front of the entire class.
Overwhelmed. So I was in the middle of a workshop with my class when the administration came in and the counselors and several of my friends here in the building, and it literally overwhelmed me. I didn't expect it. I didn't know it was coming.
Ray teaches ISM and AP Literature. He says that his students have a greater impact on his life than he feels that he does on theirs.
But most people would probably think that, as an instructor, as a teacher, you know so much. But I really think I learn more from my students than I teach them. Not just about popular cultural things, but about your life in general.
Mr. Ray is a phenomenal teacher through his leadership and speaking skills, but his best quality is the impact he has made day in and day out on his students.
I would like to believe, and I believe I really do have a significant impact on my students holistically. I use the subject of AP Literature to help my students cultivate their own individual voice.
Mr. Ray also mentions how big this award is to him and what it feels like to receive it.
I'll be very honest with you. I've spent 21 years in a professional corporate career. I told my wife yesterday it was the most significant award I think I've ever received in my career in general, because it was an award that my colleagues awarded me. The people that I work with on a day-to-day basis saw something in me, and they thought enough of it to make it known.
Congratulations to Mr. Ray for winning 2021 Teacher of the Year. Night TV News, Philip Solis.
Thank you, Mr. Ray, for all that you do for your students and independence. November is Native American Peoples Heritage Month. Night TV's Ariana Reed takes a look into the celebration.
A month dedicated to honor the influence, culture, and heritage of the Native Americans. Sam Verbitsky, a senior here at IHS and a member of the Quapaw and Pawnee tribes, discusses what her Native heritage means to her and talks about various Native American regalia that is special to her.
Staying in touch with my Native American heritage is something really important to me, especially since we don't really live that close to our reservation in particular. It's 6 hours away in Quapaw, Oklahoma, but I try to stay in touch with my family constantly, and I try to do a lot of research on my tribe and our heritage.
Additionally, Verbitsky noted some Native American regalia that is special to her and what's traditionally worn when it comes to her culture.
This is a shawl from my great-grandmother. She wears it to every powwow. A shawl is important because it's a form of clothing, and it's also a prop that you can use when you dance. So if you're just traditional dancing, you can wave it back and forth, or if you're fancy dancing like I do, you have it around your shoulders and wave it all around, and it's a fun time. This one goes on the back of your head like this, and they're all hand beaded, so they're really kind of precious and expensive.
As a way to celebrate Native American Heritage Month, there are books from Native American authors that tell more about the rich culture. Aaron and Danny are the co-creators of the Indigenous Reading Circle, an online book club where people come together to discuss various books by Indigenous authors each month. Aaron suggests different books that can be read to understand more about the culture through the perspective of Native American authors.
Ernestine Hayes, who is a Tlingit author, writer here in my community. She's written memoirs, and I just think she's really fantastic. Like, if you ever want to read memoirs, she also puts some fiction into her memoirs. And I just there's not a lot of Tlingit authors who are published, so I just think she's amazing. And then I would say Stephen Graham Jones, because horror is a genre that hasn't always been kind to Indigenous people, or any people of color, actually. And to have a Indigenous author who works primarily in horror and is changing the narrative, I think is amazing. So those are two good ones, I think.
Similarly, Danny, the other co-creator of the Indigenous Reading Circle, addresses how people can learn and appreciate Indigenous culture.
Is first and foremost just all about respect and listening to actual Indigenous people and what they're saying in terms of, hey, this is how I would appreciate if you respected my culture by learning it this way. And I think just learning and reading and appreciating works and art by actual Indigenous writers and artists. There's so much information put out about Indigenous people and Indigenous tribes that are written by non-Indigenous people. And I just think that sometimes the perspectives are lost. And when it comes to not appropriating, I think the first step is to just not appropriate. So if someone's thinking about, making a dream catcher or making a certain tribal art that's considered sacred and closed practice, just don't, and also just continue to educate yourself.
For Night TV News, this is Ariana Reed.
Tonight, boys basketball takes on the McKinney-Boyd Broncos. Go support the freshman, JV, and varsity teams at McKinney-Boyd High School, starting at 5.
Theater is bringing a murder mystery to the stage tonight. It's their last performance of the show. Join them in the auditorium at 7.
Nights, we've got 1 week left of school, and then we're off for Thanksgiving break. Hang on and work hard this last week, while keeping in mind the things that you're grateful for.
For Night TV, I'm Aiden Chavez.
And I'm Sam Rainey. Be sure to check us out on YouTube and nightpress.org to stay up to date on all things IHS. Have a great week, and we'll see you soon.